Welcome to the very first episode of TVGP's We Roguelike It. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, I was going to say Adventures in the Basement, but not quite. The extension of that is Moonpir.
Hello.
So, as we were talking about, this is... Moon and I did 66 episodes of The Binding of Moonpir, Boston Rebirth, and we enjoyed playing roguelike so much together and doing the show that we wanted to... That show sort of came to a natural end as we're waiting however long this is until we get the stuff on console.
2020.
As we joked, the natural sun death of the universe. We're sort of waiting for that as T-Bomb R is on hiatus for the moment, and we wanted to do something similar to fill that slot of let's play and enjoy / suffer along with some roguelikes.
Yep.
So we came up with We Roguelike It because we like roguelikes.
Yep.
a lot. I think our primary mission here is to play as many roguelikes as we possibly can, talk about them for a little bit, and we'll get into that in a minute, and then kind of move on to the next one. We're not going to...
It's not going to be a deep dive the way it was with Isaac, because...
Exactly.
Isaac... Well, not only is there very few roguelikes out there with the depth of Isaac, number one.
Right.
But number two, it's also a case of... I think you will agree with me here. By the end of T-Bomb R, we were both feeling a little bit burnt out, shall we say?
Yeah, I think we had... the week after we recorded the last T-Bomb R, we got together to record the next TVGP, and we're like, man, that week without Binding Isaac, that was a pretty good week. So yep. we were pretty ready, and I think that's why we're looking to focus on a small number of episodes for each game. It's gonna vary. We have a giant spreadsheet of games we have in our queue, and we've estimated some games. We might not know some of them until we get into it, but we're going to...
We'll take a best guess at roughly how many episodes we'll cover on a game.
Yeah.
If we get, let's say we decide, I think our general consensus is, let's say it's a 4-episode game, and we get to episode 3, it's like, no, this thing's a lot deeper than we thought. So
yeah, we're having a way more fun.
Yeah, so maybe an additional 2 episodes, or maybe an additional 4, or right. Let's say we do 4 episodes, and then we agree on 4, and then we do 2, and it's like, we've seen everything this game has to offer.
Yeah, no thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the only caveat for the show, and something that's probably going to be the biggest note, is not all of these are going to be roguelikes. Some of them are roguelites, or hybrid roguelikes, or rhythm games with roguelike elements. We're calling it roguelike because it's a funny joke in the title.
It's a good catch-all term as well.
Yeah, and I think we aren't really that interested in arguing semantics, or is this a light or a like, or a some of those roguelike likes. That's not. We're just going to call them roguelikes, and we're gonna play them, and we're gonna try and find as many games we can and have as much fun as we can with them. And
it's going to be about stuff like finding the hidden gems. Like,
yes.
When people talk about roguelikes, like people like me and you, someone says to us, recommend a roguelike, we will say, well, I will say, Binding of Isaac.
Yep.
Dead Rising 1.
Yeah.
Which is something I totally forgot we need to put on our list just for fun.
You write this down.
So these are roguelikes which we can recommend. However, everyone has their own one. Like, I know, for example, if I say to Boston, recommend me some roguelikes, your top 2 will... top 3. Let me take a guess at Boston's top 3 roguelikes.
Okay.
Number 1, The Binding of Isaac.
Yes.
Number 2, Risk of Rain.
Absolutely.
Number 3, Enter the Gungeon.
That's a great list, yeah. I would put my official Boston stamp of approval on that one.
Whereas for me, it would probably be Binding of Isaac, Dead Rising 1, and because I love roguelikes, but I don't... Stuff like Wizard of Legend I have played, but not enough to be able to say this is a game for you. Right. Ziggurat, this is a great game, Is it for you? I don't know, because I haven't done the full deep dive in those to see just how big they get.
And that's part of the reason why we wanted to do this show, this special series, as we typically call them, is because we want to play those big games. Like, I haven't played Wizard of Legend yet. That's a big roguelike that came out recently. But we also want to play the tiny little ones that we may only play for a week or two, or maybe it's on mobile, so it's a bit of a smaller experience. And that's one of the things I'm really excited for on the show, is we're just gonna play what we have in this list, and we have a list of, at the time of the intro recording, is around 100 games.
Yep.
And like TVGP's Game Club, we're just gonna let random.org's list randomizer choose the game for us. And we might change that over time. That might be, if you're watching this intro episode, after we're in, 50 episodes of We Roguelike It, maybe that we've changed things up. But, we're going to let randomization take us where it goes and see if we can find some great stuff. And if games are bad, then we're going to tell you they're bad.
Yeah, we're going to find the bad, but we'll hopefully also find those couple of hidden gems, those ones that you get the die-hard fans of, who will sing its praises to the rooftop, but it's not widely aware enough for me to pick up the radius. Like, you probably would, but I probably wouldn't, because you tend to be my sounding board for roguelikes.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I have an approximate knowledge of a lot of video games, but
yes,
maybe many of those are maybe just, oh yeah, I've heard of that, or ooh, people really didn't like that. That sort of thing. So if you're a patron, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. If you're at the $2 or higher tier, you'll get each episode a week early. So if we're recording episode 15 this week, the free tier will be one episode behind that, and patrons, you'll get the episode 1 week early. Like T-Bomb R, the Binding of Moonpir, Boston Rebirth from before, this will come out weekly on Wednesdays, so you'll get sort of something halfway between TVGP and your weekend. I guess to sort of wrap this up, before we talk about the very first game here, we already talked a little bit about our top games in the genre. I want to see if we had any others in the roguelike genre that we're really excited to that we love, that we've played. Like, for example, for me, I'm really excited to play Toe Jam and Earl again.
Yeah, I've never played that. Not once. I haven't even touched it. The only thing I've seen from that is when years and years ago when Giant Bomb played it on one of their UPFs. That's the only time I've ever seen anything to do with it.
Yeah. I'm excited for that, because that, for me, is my first roguelike, and I didn't realize it was until maybe just a couple of years ago when I played again. I was like, oh man, this is... Now I understand why I love Binding of Isaac, because this, back in the 90s, introduced me to all of these ideas.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to, like, we do have Enter the Gungeon on the list.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to getting much deeper into that, because I have it. I've had it for about a year and a half now, and I've just not played it. It's the grown-up problem of I just don't have the time.
You had enough time for one roguelike at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for... I give it a bad rap when I first played it, because I don't feel like it was designed for controllers. I know they've patched it a couple of times since then, but I'm excited to go back and look at Flint Hook and see if that has evolved since we actually played it to something better designed for the consoles, rather, because that thing feels like a mouse and keyboard game when you play it on controller. Not gonna lie, my biggest excitement is Everspace, because that is a game I have heard a lot about, and it's always like I have it pinned on my Xbox to be like, buy this and play it at some point.
Right.
But I'm always a little bit scared, because if it rubs the roguelike thing and the Elite Dangerous thing just the right way, I might be in a bit of difficult situation.
Yeah. I'm really excited for Ancient Domains of Mystery, ADOM.
Yes.
The classic. Actually, speaking of classics, we were joking that we should start with Rogue, but we decided we decided not to ultimately. It's still in the list, and we're definitely going to get to it eventually, but I feel like starting with Rogue might be a little bit too hardcore.
Yes.
So we're gonna visit that at some point, but definitely not right now.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning as well, we are not limiting ourselves here on platforms or age of game.
Right.
This is not going to be a case of only, I mean, like you mentioned, some of these may be out on mobile, but we are not going to do specifically just this generation console kind of things. We are looking at PC, we are looking at classic. I might have to install DOSBox at some point on this machine.
Yeah, some stuff from the 80s. You know, we're going as far back as we can to find as many good games or potentially hidden gems that we can.
Yeah.
I mean, Rogue is 30 years old now at this point, so I mean, we can go back pretty far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that covers the overall mission of the show. I do want to say, please suggest games to us.
Yes.
There's a 100% guarantee we have missed something that's really great. You know, hit us up on Twitter, either Moonpir or I, or the TVGP account. You know, hit us up on Patreon or Discord, anywhere you can find us. Let us know, and if we missed it, we'll add it to the list. We'll get as many as march towards 200 games.
Yes.
And last but not least, let's talk about our very first game. Very first game is Hand of Fate, out on PC, OS X, Linux, Xbox One, and PS4. We have the second one on the list as well that we'll eventually get to. I know that the first one's not on Switch, but the second one is. So unfortunately, we can't play Hand of Fate on Switch, but we're going to do 4 weeks of coverage for this.
Yep.
Our assumption is that we'll be okay, but you know, as we start getting into it, we'll figure it out, and we'll sort of settle into the format over the next couple of weeks. And we have nothing really super firm, unlike T-Bomb R. Don't have anything super firm for our format, so we're gonna start playing Hand of Fate and start getting into the show. So if you want to join us, we're gonna talk about for the next month Hand of Fate. Once again, I'm Boston. My co-host over there is Moonpir.
Hello.
And thank you for watching and listening to this intro, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.